Athletes, regardless of the sport that they play, dream of getting sponsored by giant brands. But the problem is, not every professional athlete gets the chance to receive support from major companies. And to make matters worse, it's hard to figure out why some athletes receive fewer sponsorship opportunities than their peers. Hey guys, welcome to Creative, where we help athletes, sports marketers, and athletic business owners learn how to build those lasting legacies beyond the game. Every Tuesdays and Thursdays, we talk about solutions that can truly change the business of sports. Today, we'll be discussing 5 reasons why some athletes don't get enough sponsorship opportunities. We'd love for you to tackle that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on anything in the future. For athletes, sponsorships are valuable. The number of deals you receive and the diversity of companies an athlete works with can easily dictate how successful they will become once they retire. This is because sponsors have the ability to help professional players establish strong careers that can stand well even beyond the game. Now, here's the catch. Getting sponsored in today's extremely competitive market has become difficult. And thanks to the several elements at play, it's hard to figure out why some athletes have fewer sponsorships than others. But to get us started, let's explore the process of how athletes get sponsored and the kind of problems that they have when facing this stage of their career. Thanks to the integration of the internet in today's market, there are various ways for athletes to get sponsorship opportunities. Some athletes with well-known reputations in their locality get invited by brands themselves to work with them, while those that have successfully gained an understanding of how digital marketing works actually reach out to them. Regardless of how they were able to get these deals, it's clear that they share one prerequisite that matters to sponsors: the following on social media. Those who get invited by brands themselves are either popular locally or internationally. And those who successfully convince their sponsors to agree to a deal already have a strong brand and a loyal following. 2 important elements that brands of today's market care about. Companies don't just reach out to athletes out of the whim. If they offer someone a sponsorship deal, it's often because they have a goal that they think the player can help them achieve. Whether it's to reach a new audience or simply improve their brand awareness, they offered this deal to that specific athlete because that athlete shares similar audiences and probably have similar values as their brand does. Not to mention that sponsorship deals are not cheap. Major companies alone spend hundreds, if not thousands, sometimes even millions, signing athletes alone. So of course they don't just invite people into their program without any research. When they look up a prospect sponsee, they think of crucial elements like the athlete's brand and their following. They want to make sure that the deal they're about to strike is worthy of the investment that they're putting in. If they don't find what they're looking for in an athlete, they're automatically off their list. So now that we've talked about the basics of sponsorships, let's dive into those 5 reasons why you're not getting as many sponsorship opportunities as the next guy. Judging by how athletes get sponsored, we can assume that when players don't make the effort to build a strong brand or following, the lesser chances of them getting sponsored. But besides this generalization, There are other factors as to why some athletes don't get as many sponsorship deals as the next player. So here are 5 reasons why athletes get fewer sponsorships and how you can really solve these issues. Starting off, you don't really have a solid brand. The first thing that most companies look at for a prospect athlete is their overall brand. Do they actually have their own brand, and what are the values that they believe in? Like we've mentioned earlier, brands want to work with athletes that share the same values and beliefs as them. This means they're looking for players that have a similar brand to them and is clear and concise. Now, the only way you can build a strong and clear brand is by going through the process of narrowing down your brand's overall identity during the brand discovery phase of the brand building process. This specific stage of the process is meant to help you figure out the foundation of your brand. This includes your brand's values, your mission statement, your overall identity, brand promise, and your target audience. It's an important stage in the process that allows you to lay down the building blocks of your brand. While brand discovery may be an extensive exercise, it's a necessary phase that you need to go through in order to build yourself a strong brand. Those who skip this stage often find themselves with a brand that doesn't really know what it is, doesn't have a why. And if there's one thing that sponsors hate, it's an unclear identity. Additionally, brand discovery will make the rest of the brand building process that much more seamless. Number 2, you really don't know who your fans are in particular. Going back to our earlier conversation, we know that sponsors are looking for athletes that already have an existing relationship with certain segments of a market or a certain fan base. Now, it's hard to get these prospect sponsors interested in working with you if you don't even know who your fans are. During the brand building process, athletes are encouraged to spend time building their fan profiles. These profiles are meant to establish a picture of what your brand's overall audience looks like. It often features important elements that brands need to learn in order to connect with them, like their age, their occupations, their interests, and how their purchasing decisions are influenced by external factors. These fan profiles will help you gain a better understanding of your fans and connect with them better. Not to mention that now that you know who your fans are, you can start segregating sponsors that want to target your fan base from those hoping to reach a different group of sports fans. Number 3, you're either not really online or you're really not communicating online. Digital marketing has never mattered more than it does today. Nowadays, sports fans automatically make the assumption that if they're not online, then you probably don't even exist. If you're yet to create your own website or even your Facebook fan page, then that's probably one of the main reasons why you're not getting as many sponsorship opportunities as the next guy. Online presence is one of the most important elements in today's market because most people nowadays use the internet to communicate and sometimes even shop. It only makes sense that brands establish a strong presence on these platforms. And to further ensure that presence that they already have online, they look for athletes that are consistently online as well. By doing so, the reach of their brand grows further as their sponsored athletes use their own platform to talk about them. Now, if you don't have a platform of your own that you know how to use, then the chances are brands wouldn't be ecstatic to work with you. So once you've finalized your brand, you need to start working on your own website and your platforms. In spite of the growing popularity of social media accounts, there are still hundreds of users that look to the search engines for information. And to make sure that you don't miss out on any prospect fans, you need to also have a great website. Once that you've prioritized the web development and implementation of your website, you can then proceed to create your own accounts on social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, with your brand language. This next reason why you don't get as many sponsorship offers as the next athlete will help you get a better grasp of the importance of having a website to begin with. And that is, you just don't have enough content. If you've seen our previous videos on digital marketing and branding, then you know how important content marketing is in today's sporting industry. As we've mentioned earlier, sponsors want to work with athletes that have experience in creating content, whether it's general social media content or simply blog posts discussing their thoughts on different topics depending on your fan base. It's difficult to curate a body of great content when you don't have a website or any sort of platform to do it in. Before you get into the actual process of creating content, make sure that all of your platforms have been set up and ready to go to be integrated with your website. Now, in terms of the kind of content that you'll create, it will ultimately depend on the brand that you're trying to build. If your brand's identity is health conscious, then you need to create content about living a healthier life. Use the information you've gathered during the brand discovery process to figure out what content you should create. And I think the one that's on everyone's top of mind, you don't have any following. Now that we've figured out 4 out of the 5 reasons you don't get enough sponsorship opportunities and have found solutions for them, we can now solve the last problem that you probably have, and that is the lack of loyal following. Not following, but loyal following. Now that you have your brand established, a platform, and a set of content to share with the rest of the world, you'll now have a much easier time building that following. Sports fans now have a reason to actually follow you. If they're able to relate to your identity as a brand and find your content either entertaining or informative, they're likely to follow you online. And over time, as you continue building your brand by sharing content that your fans find useful and informative, you'll be able to build a trustworthy relationship with them that allows you to influence their purchasing decisions. Overall, gaining sponsorship opportunities requires a lot of hard work. But as we've discussed, once the foundations of your brands are established, the rest is sure to follow. With a solid brand by your side, you'll have a much easier time building an identity that people love and start developing great relationships with both your fans and prospect sponsors. If you want to learn more about brand building, make sure to check out the rest of our videos on branding. We hope you guys loved today's video, and if you want to learn more about the great solutions that can truly change the game, don't forget to tackle that subscribe button and give us a like. It really helps out the channel. Now, this is Zach with Creatitive, where business is our sport.